But he was lacking one important thing. He wasn't thinking about things above. He wasn't thinking about things above. He was more worried about his life and what's going to happen to him, what's going to happen to his family. And those feelings like he had, that we may have, they may not be wrong at all. Except, how far do we take them? How far do we take them, and how much do we care about our future well-being outside being in the realm of God? It is not about the man having money. My goodness, the temple was not built by poor people. God's temple was not built by poor people. Who bought the temple? David bought the land. And in the reading that we had last Thursday for the feast of the presentation of the Theotokos, the reading from the book of Kings, the second reading, we see that we see and we read and we know that David went and bought the land. And the man, once upon finding that David was wanting to buy the land from him for God's temple, he said, "No, I'll give it to you free." And David said, "No, it's my responsibility. I want to buy God's place. I want to provide it." And he gave it. He bought it. And I think David prayed all his life, "I want to build you a temple." But the Lord said, "Not yet. Not yet. You did what you could. I'm going to give you someone who's going to be able to build it for you." And then his son Solomon is the one that he designed. He built the temple according to God's law and God's architectural design. And the temple was built. And when it was built, all the clergy and all the princes of the tribes of Israel came together. And and what did they do? Because it was a very meaningful event to be and initiate the temple of God. And Solomon and his princes and everybody carried all the silver and the gold and brought it into God's treasury house. And they deposited there. And all the clergy, all the priests of the temple came, and the Levites, the deacons and the subdeacons, all carried the Ark of the Covenants and all the articles, and they took it and deposited it inside the Holy of the Holies. And the whole communities, the entire community of faith came together and offered sacrifices to the Lord. And he said they've never seen the amount of sacrifices ever been offered in the history of mankind until that time. Why? Because this is a moment when you not only think about yourself, but you think about where are you heading in your life. Is your life is planned to be here forever? Or you're thinking about a place that you're going to invest your eternity. Jesus said, the man was not rich with God. The man was not rich with God. It is not because he was rich. He wasn't rich toward God and toward the ministry. Brothers and sisters, in the law of Moses, the law that God has given Moses, he said that everybody should tithe. Everybody should tithe. Everybody should give the 10% from the first fruit. From the first fruit. And that would be set aside to God and taken and offered to God. And he said, well then, who is supposed to be doing that? Just the people? He said, the priest first. The priest should tithe before anyone else. The deacons before anybody else. The Levites and the subdeacons and the readers and all those who have an important ministry role in the temple of God. All of them need to be tithing. First, to demonstrate, not by hypocritical teaching, but by a true teaching. It means whatever we say, we do. And do what I do, not only do what I say. Because what we say and what we do are the same thing. You want the ministry of the church to prosper? We have to finance it. The way we finance it, by giving our tithe, faithful giving of our tithe. Now, some of you are sleeping on me today. Please, stand up. I think it'll keep you awake. But if you, and then this way you can hear everything. That's what happens. That's what happens. You want the ministry to prosper, you have to finance it. The ministry has a house. The ministry has a payment. And you know, 2 days ago, I went along with the members of the parish councils to sign the loan. Since you collectively decided it's best to borrow the money from the bank instead of us providing the money. And we honored your wishes. But you know, before I acquired the loan, renewed the loan, the bank wanted to have a financial statement. The same way, you and I, when we go to the bank to finance our homes,